Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert. Do your own research. Today, this is the BTC USD on the 12-hour, and this is a chart I previously did. In my opinion, this $20,400 level is a very, very important area. As you can see, this acted as resistance several times, once in January, once in late September, once again in early October. There's a slight deviation that we saw back in mid-September, but price quickly retraced. It pumped all the way through, then dumped all the way back down to the range lows. And now we're about to see here if this current price action is truly acceptance above this 20,400 level. If it is, then I think that we're going to see higher, probably closer to $23,000. But it's also quite possible that this is just a deviation similar to what we saw back in September, and price is just going to go back within this range. I'm not really sure, honestly, what the exact outcome will be. I mean, nobody really truly knows. But I think that it's really just important to note that I'll clean up the chart here. This is another chart I did before, but it's important to note that there's a lot of trading volume within this $18,000 to $20,000 range. If you look at volume profile, you can just see that there's just lots and lots of volume transacted within this area. So price, this overall range between 18 to 20K, this is an area that traders like to trade at, and there's a lot of volume being transacted within that range. And we haven't really truly seen a strong breakout above. It's quite normal when you have a range similar to this that there are deviations on both ends. So it's quite possible that this is just going to be a deviation, and we're just going to see something like this is just a deviation above the range high. And if this is the case and price starts to break down, then I think that we're going to see more trading at the equilibrium, the EQ of this range around the low 19Ks, and potentially also break below this range low and potentially have another deviation. So what that would look like would be something like this, where price trades underneath it and then breaks back up within the range, and maybe we just continue to chop on. Maybe it's just like this, like continue to chop on. Contextually, like price is still within this overall. It's still within this overall big range, though. That's the important thing to note, that even though price had this range price action all the way since late August, and we're now at the end of October, it's still important to understand contextually that price is still within this larger range. So when you see this larger range, sorry, I'm cleaning up this chart here. It's so important to note, as I said, you're still within this overall large range. So price hasn't really truly moved and had this massive breakout since June. So what does that mean contextually? Contextually, that means that price is arguably accumulating, and we're seeing 4 months of this overall price action, where price is just chopping around, not doing a whole lot. And what I mean by doing a whole lot, I mean these like significant strong moves that Bitcoin is so accustomed to doing. So when you see these massive shakeouts, negative 40% back in June, again, you saw like this big negative 40% again in May. You saw this large grind down all throughout, end of last year, early 2022, negative 30%. We haven't really seen something like massive liquidation. Like, sure, we've seen this grind down here, this like negative 30% move from top to bottom, from this 25K area all the way down to this 18K area, but we haven't seen this large shakeout move in a long time. Now, does that mean that the bottom is in? No, personally, I don't think that the bottom is necessarily in. I have been of the opinion for a long time that price is going to break to past these 17K lows, but I don't know how it's going to happen or when. I personally am of the opinion currently that price is bullish still in the short term, more the midterm is what I'm thinking. More something like where price is going to, it did already find acceptance above this 20.4K area, and now I believe that price is going to go to like this high 22K area. If that happens, I think altcoins will do pretty well. But to me, this 20.4K area is very, very key. If we lose this area, then I think that my idea is just invalidated, and we're just going back within this overall range. And I personally think that we're just going to see price just trade in this range for a while longer. Now, if we scale down to lower time frame charts and we map this overall range out, we can look at some of the EMAs. The EMAs are very, very healthy relative to what price and EMAs have been in the past. We are seeing these EMAs all tightening up. And you can see that price is interacting heavily with these EMAs. And we furthermore saw these EMAs bullishly cross over, something that we haven't really seen since, arguably, we saw like some of the EMAs pass over in September, but we haven't truly seen many of them pass bullishly cross over since really this early August period, where they are all above the lagging EMA. So when you see a bullish trend, you generally always see the faster EMAs, meaning this blue, green, and other blue line bullishly crossing over this red line. You want these typically to be above the lagging indicator, meaning the red line, you want all of the other lines to be above the red line. And currently that's where we're at. As you can see, this bullishly crossed over, and this is the first time we've seen it since August. So, and it's also important to note that there is not as big of a gap between price and the EMAs. So when you see these large gaps between price and EMAs, that means that usually the move is unsustainable, and that price is going to really just have like short-term highs and then break down. That's usually pretty common when you see large gaps between the EMAs and price. And currently speaking, we see that the EMAs are very tight with price. We haven't seen something like this in a long time. Like, even though this bullishly crossed back in June and July, we haven't really seen price truly consolidate as tightly with price. We haven't seen this tight compression for a long time, and to me, this is still pretty bullish, which is why I'm still personally bullish for now. As I said before, if we lose 20.4K, if we lose the 20,400 level, that to me would be pretty ugly, and then price just trades back within the range. But it's possible that this red line, this 200 EMA, it's usually a pretty solid one from a TA standpoint. If price does spike down to like this 19.7K area and then reclaims this range high, then I think that this could be a pretty decent buying opportunity because of how much compression there is with regards to price and all of these EMAs, as I said before. So in summation, I believe that this 20,400 level area is very, very important, and I wouldn't want to see price lose that area. But if we do see a deviation, if this is just a deviation, then I think that price is just going back within this range. But with that said, there are these EMAs, specifically this red line around this 20K area where price could spike to, and it could be a pretty solid entry in my opinion. What I would want to see if price does spike below is I would like to see a quick bounce up and a reclaim of this 20.4K area. If that happens, then I think that this bullish scenario still continues. But if we see something like this where like price spikes down and then comes up to this 20.4K area, deviates a little bit, and then starts breaking down again, I think that we're all overall just confident that price is just going to go back within this 18 to 20K range, and price will just continue to just chop around for a while. But as I said, contextually, it is important to note that price has chopped around here for many months, and I do believe that the next big move is to the upside, just because of the way that price has chopped around for so long. Now, am I saying that the bear market is over? No, I'm not. I still believe that price could break below the lows, and it's still something that I'm watching. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see something like 23K or even 25K, and then potentially we start to break down after that. Again, don't know what it's going to look like or how, but I do believe that the worst of it is mostly done. But I think that a spike to 16K or 14K could possibly come, and that, in my opinion, would be kind of like this last final shakeout. But it's as I said, it's really going to depend overall on macro, just because nobody really knows what's going to happen with regards to rates and with regards to overall economy and more, just like what the overall outlook is with unemployment and everything else. So it's really important to really note all that other stuff. But yeah, those are kind of my overall thoughts on Bitcoin. I do believe that the next big move is up to 23K. But I'm really watching this current level as well as 20K, which would be the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support.